forgot to AirPlay or share screen my phone into the my old mid 2013 MacBook Air. So yeah, but it seems to be there's not many things that accidentally shown. So I think it's okay. So I will still probably publish this video, obviously, because it's already automatically published as well. Unless I decided to remove it later, but yeah, I think it is okay since yeah, there's no much thing. So I basically start in an unnecessary instant messaging for the entry point into the Animoji, which is basically try to crop in the middle. So that's the reason why the previous freeze screen, when I basically try to kind of like disconnect the phone from the AirPlay, it is just stay at those middle screen. So we just basically have two options for the AirPlay from my phone in my local network, obviously, which is the my old MacBook Air and also my smart TV, which I usually accidentally connect if for some reason the MacBook Air AirPlay is still not shown yet. So I basically forgot to turn on the light as well, which is basically make it pretty struggle for the sensors of the Animoji to record my face for the motion capture or anything like that. So basically I just don't know what kind of things that I basically want to talk about in this unintentional free time. So I basically have another unintentional free time, and I already tried to spend probably less than half an hour, perhaps, I'm not sure, for doing the good behavior recording just like several days ago, I guess. I'm not sure, or it's actually yesterday. And I think after this I will try to take a rest for a while, and hopefully I'm still able to do two more episodes for the native language podcast in this day, which so that next week I only need to process into the online video editor and then upload it again into the YouTube of my other channel that I cannot mention. So yeah, that's the reason why, even though it will definitely still last for around 2 weeks until I basically need to prepare another 7 episodes, which is more than an hour of preparation just for talking about unnecessary things and the things that basically hopefully can motivate other people's, because for some reason I always try to write any kind of motivation topic in my phone notes, but for some reason maybe the notes on my phone is already pretty big, because at the beginning of the pandemic I always try to write so many text, perhaps, I'm not sure. But yeah, if I basically try to download those notes, it should be not that big, but probably the synchronization process for the things that basically pretty big is not as good as when you try to synchronize your code as a programmer using the version control system, which is definitely the best text comparison changes detector. I don't know what's the appropriate word for those, but yeah, it's definitely the best, because maybe it was definitely an open source library for those kind of comparison. So that's the reason why, even though if you talk about the server that basically store your code, it's still technically paid and private. But yeah, in terms of the how those server and client are communicate, is actually pretty much an open source library, and it is pretty popular. There is another alternative, old alternative that I used to do beside this library which is called Git, and so the old library is called HG, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of like a chemical materials for approximate your temperature. I don't know basically what's the exact appropriate word for those things, but yeah, it's definitely pretty much have the same or similar command like it, but yeah, I don't know, it just feels pretty weird, especially when you encounter certain specific case which basically, I don't know, they basically try to show something that basically not really appropriate, such as a cartoon, which is a little bit funny perhaps, but I don't know, maybe it is more for open source enthusiasts, perhaps for customizes library. I'm not sure. So yeah. And what else did basically I want to talk about? So I don't know. After preparing the native language podcast, if I still have sufficient time, I will definitely try to take a rest again. Because yeah, for some reason, when I already finished any kind of personal productivity that I basically wanted to do in this day, I basically try to refresh myself, because for some reason, no matter how many things that I try to do, if the result is pretty much the same, I will prefer to not doing it and try to enjoy my life, because for some reason every seconds that you basically spend in your life, it is all of them were irreversible. So whether it is productive or not productive, so maybe if you are basically productive all day long, almost in the entire of your life, you may want it to experience unproductive in your life. Maybe you can feel something different. And of course, as an unproductive person or lazy person is also need to experience some productive, very productive life in certain point, which basically can make their life pretty much balanced perhaps, or at least they already try to experience any possibilities of way of life perhaps. I don't know what kind of things that I basically try to talk about, but yeah, hopefully you know the points, all of you, even though there's definitely most likely will there's no people that basically try to hurt my content in life, obviously. So if later in the future this content was immediately seen by quite many peoples, I don't know, maybe it was still pretty much unnecessary things to see, because most of the topic were pretty much, I don't know, segmented or pretty specific to this time only. Or maybe if it is pretty much a common thing that basically happens to many peoples, then it's still basically unnecessary things to see as well. But yeah, it's okay, since at least I already tried to express all of my feelings in this 10 minutes, so it's already more than 10 minutes, and I think I will try to end this soon, or a little while again, I'm not sure. So basically, I already tried to talk into myself, obviously try to talk to myself, maybe try to talk to the creator perhaps, in the form of prayer, obviously it can be heard by any kind of spiritual entity, but I don't know whether it is gonna be change anything or not, but I always try to hope for the best in the future, and hopefully I can basically make a more necessary content that basically beneficial for physical people as well, because yeah, to be honest, this kind of content may be pretty unique, but in the context in the content may not that unique. So hopefully I can finally found something that basically I can really do good at those things, because I always feel that many things that I have been done I basically not really good at. So I don't know about motivating people from this kind of thing is actually the best specialty that I had, but I don't know, maybe because yeah, I don't know whether there is so many people that basically want to hurt me or not, because yeah, I just don't know. There are so many things that we don't know, obviously, and yeah, everything was just run through the destiny, and we just tried to change it as much as we could. So yeah, I think that's all. It's just getting random, and there's gonna be too many silent and more weird words that you will hurt. So I don't know, because yeah, I definitely not a native language person. So native language